Is it game? Is
Video
it
game
Boy?
or?
It's Game Boy, right?
Oh.
Busy,
bro.
No, we got.
Said
we
Dad's
got
busy.
It's a good topic here. Let me hit him.
He got you, man.
It's called Coaching Connection. It's called Coaching Connection. It's called Coaching Connection.
So first off, I want to say thank you guys for taking the time to drive all the way out to the house on a Saturday. You know, you could be spending family time. I guess we are spending family time. But I think you guys have a great story, and I want to kind of share it with the world. And so first off, let's just introduce ourselves one by one.
Vela. I'm a coach at Lido, and I also help run HD Toros.
I'm Lorenzo Vela. I'm a police officer with San Antonio Police Department, and I'm the owner of Slam Dunk for Life. We're a pending nonprofit organization right now.
Art Vela, Thomas Jefferson High School, head basketball coach. Been doing it for about 16 years already, going on as a head coach, going on about 29 years with the district, SASD.
So what have you guys been up to? I know school just started. We just got it kicked off. What have you guys been up to these last few weeks?
Man, I have a 1 month old, 6 weeks.
Hey, congrats! I forgot you got a baby. Yeah,
so
man, congrats.
That's been my all my free time.
No sleep.
No, not yet. He's actually in the NICU.
Oh, really?
So
okay.
so he'll be there hopefully in a few more weeks, and then
come home.
So it's pretty much go to work and then try to get there as quick as we can.
Just working, really. Just working. Trying to prepare. See what camp I have next. Trying to throw a camp probably either during Thanksgiving break or Christmas break, and just go from there. Other than that, just working, staying busy. That's about it. Trying to get back into the basketball scene, watch practices, and go what are these, like fall league games or something that you're playing?
Yeah, off season.
So just trying to go watch games and stay busy.
Yeah. Already?
Well, we do off season.
Yeah.
A lot of off season basketball, but then I'm not gonna lie. On top of it, I know we've been trying to interview. We've been doing a lot of fishing, so during the summer and even in the fall right now before our October 23rd opening day. So, but we started fall season with tournaments and fall leagues and all that good stuff.
Talk to me about those fishing trips. It looks fun. It looks like you guys have a good time. I know you two do it a lot. Do you do it?
I do it, yes.
You do it
yes,
all?
sir. Yes,
You're just
sir.
not in all the pictures.
I'm not.
Oh, you don't catch any fish?
I'm just hanging out.
Yeah, you're not fishing.
Yeah,
I'm
not fishing. Yeah.
Got you.
I take a picture with them. I don't catch it. I just
Takes a picture of Darfish.
Shooting, man.
I guess that's another sport we love as a family. I think that's one of the best sports for family.
Yeah.
You have to fit and you go out there, you fish, you throw it out there, you throw your line out there, and we kind of have to communicate, talk, and collaborate about everything.
Really?
Some days the fish ain't biting, so we're talking there. We're talking about basketball, everything. So it's something good that I love being by the water. So I enjoy going fishing. So any chance I can get, I know we try to get out. We go by the water. If we're not doing basketball, we're doing some fishing.
Who's got the boat? You got the boat?
I have the boat right now.
You have the boat?
I have the boat right now.
Gotcha.
So
you're the only one allowed to. Is it called driving a boat?
I won't drive it.
Yeah, just driving a boat pretty much.
Yeah.
Just trying to get out there and get away from work, get away from reality, and just go hang out by the water, just chill with the family, catch fish.
I have a pretty good idea of their schedules in terms of like what they're kind of doing. But what is your schedule like with work?
My schedule. So right now I work 1:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. and I'm off Fridays, Saturdays.
Oh, okay.
But it's pretty easy to take off days whenever we need to. So usually, like if we plan on something, I'll take the day off. We have our schedules are super flexible. Taking days off. If we have the hours, they'll give us a day off.
Oh, nice.
Pretty much, majority of the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's 40 hours a week, and it's good. Pick up overtime gigs sometimes. Before shifts or after shifts. Try not to work too much, but
Don't burn yourself out.
yeah, I don't want to burn myself. I'll go in spurts, like a couple weeks, like working, 60 hours a week around there, and then I won't do that for a while.
Talking about maybe burning out, like for coaches, high school coaches especially, we do a lot. Fall ball, fall leagues, summer leagues. I mean, you guys are always hosting something, but it doesn't ever like really feel like work. At least I don't feel like it's work, and so I don't ever feel a sense of burnout because I mean, it's our passion is what we're having. Like you guys are fishing, right? Don't feel like you're just having a good time, right?
I think basketball has not worked for us. I think we love basketball so much. It's been part of our family. But sometimes just to get away, just to be a family and stay together and going out fishing or going to the backyard and just hanging out and barbecuing. Sometimes we gotta, even though we try to stay away from basketball, or stay out of a gym, it doesn't happen with us. We still end up somewhere in a weekend, either watching a college game or a practice or going and watching. I have grandkids now, so my grandson plays and so I still end up in a gym watching.
Somehow, some way.
Some way, yeah. There you go. But we love, I know you do. I know everybody here. We love basketball.
For sure. And we'll call from time to time. I'll call your dad and just no reason really just to talk it over real quick, talk a little hoops. But for you said you've been doing it for almost 30 years. So how do you? I guess you kind of answered it, but how do you still find the energy and stay fresh and stay engaged and still feel that youthfulness that you felt when you first started?
Well, I think my son's right here and my wife. My wife's like my assistant coach. My daughter, they're always on me about basketball. We're always getting new information. They're always feeding me and keeping my energy going. I've been fortunate, also blessed with good assistant coaches throughout my whole career that are young and that they push me to adjust a little bit more instead of staying in my old school mentality when I first started, because coaching was different back then to right now.
And the game has changed.
And the game has changed totally. So I think everybody around me that I've been around has kind of made me energize and adjust to the game the way it is now.
You coach high school ball. Mm-hmm. You coach AAU ball, right? And there's a balance there. But there's also oftentimes like a disconnect sometimes between the high school world and the AAU world. Have you seen that?
Definitely. I think relationships, that's where it kicks off for a lot of us guys. Like I know Coach Lou was at an Antonian. Yeah. So knowing these coaches and getting them and having their trust with us, I think that's big time for us recruiting certain kids, talking to the coaches directly. I think AAU and high school is super different though. Yeah. So I'm still pretty brand new to the high school world, but I think high school has been so different because of relationships. Like AAU, I see my kids Monday, Wednesdays, and weekends. Yeah. So you develop a really good relationship with a lot of these kids. But once I got to high school, it was like, man, like my first week, I'm having parents call me about like, hey, like my son, guess what he was looking up? And I'm like, dude, like, what am I supposed to like? You want me to like? He's like, yeah, you got to like run him or something. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, and then we try to get this to understand that gap. And I really love high school basketball. So I think my goal is to eventually get back to the city and coach somewhere in town.
And so like being in both situations and you've seen the lack of relationships, like what do you think could help build that bridge between the two worlds?
I think putting AAU coaches in high school coaches' situations. I think a lot of us AAU coaches think high school coaches aren't doing their jobs.
Gotcha.
But high school coaches have more than just coaching basketball.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to working from 8:45 to 4.
Yeah.
And that's not something I want to do, but it's sort of have to do. Yeah, it's part of the job. And I think these AAU coaches think us high school coaches, that's all we do. Yeah. All we coach is basketball. I'm like, no, I have my day. I have a caseload, so most of my kids I see, that's my job every day.
Do you teach special education?
I teach special education right now. Gotcha. So I don't think they understand, like, hey, like, he doesn't see his basketball players. He doesn't practice from 8:45 to 4. Yeah. Like, these kids don't, you see these kids before school, after school, for most of us.
And it might go both ways. I think it might go from the high school side also in terms of how they perceive what's going on in the AAU world and what they do, right? So maybe mutual respect from both sides to the other might be something.
And I think I grabbed a better understanding since he's been doing that, working club and then high school. And I still put pressure on him to make sure that, hey, that's your job over there. It's different. It's not just about coaching. When what we're doing, we're counseling, we're trying to take care of the kid during the day.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of things going on in that deal. And then we're getting to basketball. I think the basketball part's the easy part.
Really?
It's the other stuff that we're trying to build character in that classroom with the teachers, with our kids being respectful, being young men, building that young man mentality. And but then I also understood at first, I was old school. I didn't agree with the club and this and that. But then once I start going and seeing what's going on with the club and club basketball scene, it's part of basketball now. It's part of it. It's the culture we live in.
Yeah.
So either you just always be standoffish on it, or you jump in it and start making adjustments to understand what's going on outside of school and your teaching job and your coaching job at the high school. But yeah, I think I have a better understanding because my son does it. But it's I know coaches around the city. We always have conversation about it's always back and forth. I think it's part of the basketball circle now.
Yeah,
it's part of it. And we have to deal with trying to figure out how to make this work. What's best for the kid, what's best for our high school kids and our program there, and what's best when he leaves us. I mean, we want the best for on both sides. I think and I think it's if you team up with it, hey, I think it works. It helps the kid improve as a basketball player because they travel and they get to see a bigger scene. They get to play against real guys in Dallas and Houston, and it opens up that they got to come back and work for us also.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think it's good when it makes the relationship easier when the coaches communicate. Like I know with you guys, and we've had kids that played for the Toros, and either you or Lou will hop on the phone, and I'm sure you're the same way. Hey, how's so and so doing? This and that. Maybe we need to touch on this. Or he really didn't really do this very well this summer, but he needs to grow in this department. But I think that relationship and the communication is vital. But it's got to be an open line. Like you said, we got to be more open to the concept.
Both ways, though. Both ways. Yes,
100%.
not just. I think people think high school coaches are a certain way or AAU coaches, but I think as long as both of them can understand, the phone goes both ways. Also, that communication, I think that goes a long way.
In the day, whatever is most important, whatever benefits the kid the most is what's most important. So Lorenzo, talk to me about your nonprofit that you started up. How did it start? Where did you get the idea? How did it kind of take off for you?
So it's Slam Dunk for Life. Slam Dunk for Life. It was like 12 years ago. They used to have camps, and the camps were always. It was a free basketball camp. It was mainly for inner city schools, and all the kids there got a free basketball, free shorts, and free shirts. And they would have it at different high schools, and they would have the high school coaches running it. Yep. So they stopped doing camps like around 12 years ago, and then there was baller camps that came around, and baller camps pretty much it was almost the exact same as Slam Dunk for Life, and they were doing basketball camps, and they were great, both great organizations, and they stopped doing baller camp like 3 years ago. So I would talk to my dad and Coach Gilbert Vasquez, Coach Joseph Martinez, and they were just like, hey, we need to do something. Like, these kids aren't getting summer camps. Like, you need to put something together, So we talked about it for a while, and then one day I just decided, like, I need to do it. So I started doing it. We're still pending a nonprofit. When I went to go look up, I was coming up with names, and I couldn't really, it's kind of hard. You want something that sounds professional, something that has a good, like, catch to it. And when I met with the person who set me up with all that stuff, he's like, hey, Slam Dunk for Life's available. So I was like, you know what, let's do it, because it's going to bring a lot of memories back to people that, either the coaches that work for it, and like, a lot of these parents now have kids that are, in elementary, middle school, high school. So, it'll bring back memories for them too. Like, I've already gotten so much messages from people like, man, like, y'all bringing back Slam Dunk for Life. People super excited. So, we're just pending nonprofit. So I just decided, let's while we're waiting for this, let me start throwing camps. Let me have, I threw one at Jefferson for the middle schools there, for the feeders for Jefferson. I threw one on base for Cole High School for the elementary kids, all for, for the military families. We had a great turnout, had almost 70 kids at that camp. Nice. and then we did one at Lanier for the middle school kids, for the feeders that are going to Lanier High School. So just trying to be active that way. When I get the approval, we could start stepping on the gas and moving forward fast on that. So it's been good so far. It's right now just getting trying to get a couple sponsors, and it's good because the kids. I mean, I still get messages from the kids on on our Instagram page, like, hey, when's the next camp? I literally just got a text like 2 days ago, like, hey, this is his name, and he's like, can you text me when the next camp is, please?
Yeah.
So these kids are starting to they're starting to see it. We go to the gym, kids have the shirts on that we give away. So hopefully we could keep moving forward and go to that where we could every kid gets a basketball and every kid gets shirts and shorts, and me and my girlfriend's like super involved with it too, and she's about to be a doctor, so she's gonna handle all. We want to start giving back like physicals to all the kids, free physicals. My girlfriend will be in charge of all that on that side of it. Where we could bring in, go to middle schools and give all the kids free physicals. That's one less headache. So I mean,
one less.
it's we're targeting a lot inner city, but I was talking. I mean, kids need help everywhere. So
Absolutely.
so the goal is to be big in the city, and try to go around the state, and try to get around everywhere. Turn it into like a brand, and have a bureau, and just really give back to all the kids. They're all going to be free camps, and that's the goal. That's the goal for all of it.
And we don't realize until you see it down the road how impactful these camps are for these little kids, and they remember you, and they remember these moments in their life, and they're going to want to send their kids to these events. Sure. And so I think you picked the right name for it. Just touching on that, did you guys go to Slam Dunk for Life camps when you were kids?
I was 6th, 7th, 8th grade.
Yeah.
Yes,
Really?
I went to all the Slam Dunk for Life camps.
Yeah.
For sure.
So for you too, I'm sure it's a big deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you helped run some
we
of them.
we helped run some of them. So I think it was a good deal for kids all around when they were running those Slam Dunk for Life camps and the Baller camps when they're free. Nowadays, how expensive it can get for a kid.
$200.
Just to go to one camp, or even a day camp is expensive. And now, he's trying to implement this camp where it's free, and I think it helps the kid. Maybe it turns a little fire in him where he loves basketball or sports, and he gets active with it. So I think it's a positive thing for the kid.
No, for sure. People don't realize how much, like what you're talking about, trying to get everything taken care of financially, that takes a lot of work and a lot of work. So much respect to what you're doing, bro.
Yes, sir.
I saw it and I was like, dang, look at Lorenzo, man. That's big time right there.
Yeah, and man, the one that's helped a lot too is Keldon Johnson with the Spurs. We're really good friends, and he, I started talking to him about it. We would go fishing together, and I'd start talking about it, and he'd love it. So he showed up to 2 of my camps just to show love, and the kids got super excited, and all the kids at the camp. I mean, I didn't promote it that he was going. It's just
showed up.
He showed up, and he showed love to the kids, and the kids get excited, and it's just really, I mean, kids. I work in the streets every day. I patrol the streets, so a lot of these kids. I mean, drugs are so much easier to access now. Guns are so much easier to access. I mean, as we were growing up, you couldn't just go tell 5 people and one person's gonna have it. Now you could probably almost go tell every other kid, and
something done.
They're gonna have those vapes, anything like that. So there's just so much more out there now, and I feel like in youth sports, there's not that love no more. Where you don't have guys like we had a Ralph Vela. He was on our west side.
Sure.
He never took $1 from any of us. He brought everybody in from the west side to play in tournaments.
I remember.
And there's not people out there like that no more.
Everybody, I think, is trying to do the big, the travel ball, AU ball.
It's a business.
It's a business. But those guys you're talking, like Ralph, you're talking about, they took care of the hood.
Yeah.
They took care of the kids in the hood, and they kind of mentored and sometimes provided a male role model that maybe was absent in their life. And I remember I've been in wrecks all over the place, right? And those guys were stern. They kept it real, but they also helped you,
helped you get
They never took $1 from
Never
you.
took
They take care of you. And, they load us all in the SUV, 10 of us, and he'd take us to a tournament and buy us food, and he never at the time, we didn't know how big that was for everybody, but now we look back at it, and I still talk to Ralph every week, and that was huge just for us, and for us, we had our parents.
Yeah.
My dad would drop us off at Tobin every day, and he'd leave us there. Well, I don't know what he was doing, but he got
a free babysitter.
Yeah,
Ralph didn't know that at that time.
He left us there.
You're a good man, Ralph.
Yeah. So, at the time, we had our parents. A lot of those other kids didn't have, their parents or anything like that. So, we see all those guys now that we grew up with, and Ralph was like a huge part, but it really is just there's not a lot of people like that no more that are just willing to, go and help and not try to make money off you or make money off.
I think it was like the sacrifices. I know we're all here. We're coaching and we're involved in basketball somehow, and there's people around us that helped us get to where we're at right now. It was and that lit that fire for us to become a basketball coach or a teacher, and these are guys. He wasn't a teacher, but Ralph Rivetta he ran that Tobin Community Center, but he made such a big impact by taking people in and sacrificing and not charging them anything, taking them to tournaments and leagues. And there was other people that did that back then at Parks and Rec. I grew up in Parks and Rec. That's how I played basketball. And that's where I think giving back. I know we all give back, and it's not we want the kids to be successful. We want them and trying to grow them through the game of basketball.
And what you guys are talking about is way beyond basketball, right?
Oh yeah.
For me, like I love hoops, and we've all played against each other. I came up playing against your dad, and I ended up playing against y'all, so I'm kind of like in the middle, right? But we just love the hoop. But the most, I guess, rewarding part about it is when you see that you've changed or impacted somebody's life, and you see the benefits of it down the road. And like you said, and you said as well, like it's much more than just like we're not coaching all day. We're mentoring, we're counseling, we're pulling kids in that's going through something tough that nobody knows about, and they're leaning on you for whatever reason. They trust you, right? And so like it's much more powerful than just winning a basketball game.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Super. Yeah, I think my third week of school, we had a kid who had like something crazy happen, and Coach Hernandez, who's our head coach at Lido, was like, they don't get you ready for this at school. No. Like you're gonna have to have these conversations with kids every year.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna come in here and you're gonna have to like show you care. Because if you don't care, the kids know like
they can read.
They're like, I'm not gonna like. I think I have a good enough relationship with the freshmen, the varsity kids, so they come to me, and when they come to me, I'm like, man, like I had no idea like that's going on at home. Like, so I think that keeping the relationships genuine and like pure, and that's what Ralph did super well. Like that brought those kids or us together and made.
I know your dad's great at it, and I'm sure you guys learned from one of the masters on how to build those genuine relationships. Talking about that moment though, like when Coach Hernandez brought you in, I remember when I first hired Andrew Collazo, and we had one of those moments, and I had a young man whose mother had got diagnosed with cancer, and she was not doing well. And he knew I went through the same thing, and so he would come in every day or so and just kind of talk, and he'd kind of cry about it, and we'd help him out. And the first time we did it, when he left, Andrew was like, I was like, yeah, no, they don't get you ready for this. This is the other side of it, but it's the most important part of it, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, I ended up a little bit. We got a little deep there. But, so you guys play for your pops.
Oh, so that Coach Hernandez also coached for my dad, under my dad.
100%.
Yeah, yes. So that's super cool. He was like, man, 10 years ago you did that. My dad brought me in for that one. Yeah, now you're...
So he returned the favor.
Yeah, like sort of. So he always brings that up, like it's cool table turning. Like,
but I love that. That's what I love about the coaching profession in general, because of those relationships and like I feel like everybody in this room has respect for whoever we meet. Like we're all nice guys, and so we built relationships with people in the basketball world that, at least in our city, is pretty connected.
Yeah.
And so like that's a pretty dope connection there. I didn't know that. You said it. Yeah. I knew that he worked for your pop, but I didn't think of it on that deep of a level.
Yeah. So he was. I think he went for you 09 to like 15, 16.
15.
Yeah, 15, and then he ended up at Lido. So when he called me, he was like, "Hey, we could get you in." I was like, "Man, that'd be super cool to."
Yeah. So he was my assistant. He did a good job and did a great job over there at Lido going to state. So
we'll touch on it. I was going to talk about it later, but since you brought it up, what a journey that was, right?
That was.
Did you get to go to state?
Super cool.
Just as a brother and a father, how did you guys feel watching him go through that journey?
Oh man, it was amazing because my dad's team was losing all that year. So I was at all the Lido games. I was like, no, I jumped on board with Lido, and
the whole family jumped on that side. I'm like, they just left me hanging there, man.
It was good. It was a good experience just to see, going that far, those rounds. I mean, the kids, his kids over there, they played hard. It was just, it kind of reminded us of the Edison days, because they had one Jordan Valdez. He was a great athlete, and then the rest around was just all role players.
Did a job well,
and they played super hard, and it reminded of Edison days, where we weren't the biggest
were you the
team.
Super good one? Is that what you're saying?
That's it. So, yeah. But no, they just played super hard. So it was fun to watch and just be a part. See my brother do all that, because I know my dad hasn't reached that point yet, and he's on his 30th year or whatever. So to see my brother do that in his first year, it was just man, majority of coaches will never know that feeling. So.
Yeah, no, that's the pinnacle, right? To get there, and the pinnacle is to win it, but to get to the dome and to go through the experience, that's
and
awesome.
It was super awesome because I'm from the city, of course, but to be out there in Lido, the town shut down. I was texting them hey, the mayor just sent a viral post hey, every business has to close down. They're driving through downtown. Yeah. And everybody is crazy because everyone's outside. So that was super. Our AD was super involved, Miss Wilson, and it was super everybody's involved. Yeah. Everybody. I don't even know how to explain it. I don't think I ate a really good meal for 2 weeks because I was so stressed out on the games and trying to not sleep. I think I lived off ding dongs and Big Red. It's super cool. It was
somehow
everything.
You're still super skinny.
Yeah, it was I was man, it was 2 weeks of and I know Coach Hernandez was man, I don't it was just you never know how to react. Yeah, the news are showing up, and then Jordan really blew up for a quick 2 weeks. It was colleges coming in to work him out, and it was super you wouldn't expect it. And looking back, I would think if I would ever get there again, how I would manage my time. Yeah, because it was crazy for 2 weeks. I don't know how to say it. We didn't really practice well. Yeah, the state week we didn't practice well because so many people were involved.
A lot of distractions.
Our principals hey, coach, there's people here for this.
You can't cut off too.
Yeah, you can't cut off. Yeah, you can't. You gotta do it. Yeah, it's my superintendent calling us in for this and that, and it's oh man, we're gonna have to stop practice, guys, for this. So it was a tough week of practice and the preparation for everything else besides basketball. But it's not just us. I think the other schools had the same issues. Yeah. Everybody, yeah. So everybody has those issues.
Maybe harder for y'all because y'all are local, kind of, right? Mm-hmm. So you have so much easier accessible to the community around, and whereas these guys are traveling from the hotel, maybe a little different.
Yeah, we had a parade. Yeah. And it was I had to be a couple thousand people at the parade, and it's just
we're small town Lido.
Yeah, and Lido and Hernandez was hey, we're gonna rent a room. We're gonna get these guys at the town. That's our goal. We're gonna go practice. We'll practice tomorrow morning. Yeah. Somewhere in the gym. We'll find a gym in the city. So we did that. We left the day before and practiced that night, and then the morning before because we couldn't even practice in our own gym. The dentist, people were taking pictures with us. It was crazy. HEB.
But it was so worth it, I'm sure.
Oh, it was worth it. Yeah, looking back, it was super cool.
All right, Pop. So, but as dad, you've had a lot of successful teams, right? But to get to that point of getting the state, it's not everybody gets to experience it. But as a father figure, how did you feel?
I was proud. I was happy for Coach Hernandez, my son, but really the kid. It was pretty neat because I got to follow. My season was over quick that year, so I got to follow the run they had and to see that town, just how much excitement was in the town, to see their kids. It was really a nice deal to see. And you know, I was really super proud of these guys, especially their town, the kids, and Coach Hernandez running that. That was something neat to see.
Yeah.
And you know, for my son, the first year coaching, was it first year?
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I was kind of hating on him a little bit. You know, first year coaching, and he's out there, you know, already at the dome, and you know, but you know, no, that's our goal as coaches, always to bring the kids all the way to the top. You know, always get them to state. We like that to happen, but you know, as long as I think we're doing our job of, you know, raising good, strong young men, I'm excited about that too.
Absolutely.
You know, I think that in turn, you know, you raise good young men. I think they represent your program right, and in turn, you'll win.
Yeah.
I think you'll have a lot of success still.
It'll take care of itself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you both played for your dad.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? I've known you for like 25 years. Your dad coaches hard and is passionate, and I love it because I like to coach hard, and he gets after it, right? But what was it like as a son on that end of it?
Well, when I first got there, we weren't that good.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, I think he had to build that program. I mean, Edison wasn't a basketball school. So, for us to get there and have a good, 8-9 year stretch of making the playoffs, winning playoff games, like that was super big. I know it was just trying to get our kids to buy in, including myself, of course, like all of us buying in and knowing that he's going to guide us to a win, of course. I mean, in these games get bigger and bigger, and we're winning bigger games every year. So it was fun because from our sophomore year to senior year, it was like night and day. Because I think our sophomore year we might have won like 8 games,
And we still got into the playoffs.
Yeah. Somehow
we lost everything in non-district, and we won the right games in district
to get to the playoffs. And that was a cool experience, playing. And then my senior year, we lost 4 minutes away from going to state. So we were in game 5, and that was cool because even the community there
was strong too.
Yeah, I don't even remember where the game was at. It was
Littleton.
Littleton. Yeah, and that was packed. Like there was nowhere to sit. And
that's where Brewer had that strong team, with Lammers, I think.
Big.
Big boy.
Big boy.
Yeah, he had a great team that year. And Brewer does a great job with his kids.
Oh, for sure.
Year in, year out. I mean, this guy.
Actually, you were with Brewer on the first time we had the podcast.
Yeah.
You guys have had some good battles over the years.
Oh, yeah. We actually played them this morning in off season.
And they got a pretty good team.
They're physical. They're solid, disciplined. So, no, but I mean, I know, and with him, he came to Edison. He was supposed to go to Jeff because we live in the Jefferson area.
Gotcha.
And, and a lot of people, he fought me about going to Jefferson.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I went to the elementary down the block.
Yeah, Longfellow, all his friends went to Jefferson. So, and my point was I was never going to see him play.
Yeah.
We were going to play against each other. And I always told him.
We would have been beating them.
I think he would have been mad at dinner. He would have been mad at dinner because I would have beaten Jefferson.
I always tell Coach Hernandez, I'm the reason y'all got these promotions.
Point guard.
But both of them. I mean, and the next one, I took him to Whittier, which fed into Edison, so it was a little easier. He understood coming to Edison right away. So
I just wasn't hard headed like this guy. That's it. I listened. This guy didn't listen.
He's a little more freelance.
He just don't listen. That's why.
I tried to. I mean, my first couple of years coaching these two, I was really hard on them. And then I talked to actually Art Gonzalez.
Yep.
He coached his boys
Yep.
at Highlands, and he kind of gave me some good advice about, leave everything at the practice, at the games. When you get in that truck and go home, leave it alone.
Yeah.
Unless they want to talk about it. And we still ended up after, I was always on them all the way to dinner. Like, you didn't listen on that execution, blah, that turnover, blah, blah. You don't listen either. You're not working hard, blah, blah. But, once I listened to Art Gonzalez about that advice to just leave everything at the gym. When I leave or the games, go home, it's done. But us being a basketball family, they still it came up stuff, and they brought, but they were initiating the conversation now instead of me going at them aggressively and saying you're not doing this right.
So now they're looking for the conversation and engagement and what they need.
And so and then after that, I mean, they had that love for the game, and so dinner wasn't as bad as before. We're talking about
how did your wife handle that?
So I feel my wife was probably my best assistant coach, and my biggest critic too. So she stayed on all of us. I mean, she kind of keeps us in, guides us and puts us in our place. She would lower me down a little bit about, hey, don't get after them. It's it's just a game. And I said, it's not just a game, But she did a great job of just keeping me level-headed, man. Because sometimes I'm emotional a little bit, so we let the game of basketball get you kind of fired up. And so I was kind of going after these guys every time. If we lose or we win, I was just magnifying everything on their errors and everything. But then it started getting better about, when I started listening, taking advice from my wife, from other people about, hey, just let them be them.
Yeah.
And it worked. It worked out great for us because our conversations were, they started understanding how to analyze themselves and get better and figure out how to, be better on the court and be better teammate and all that good stuff. And it was an enjoyment. It was a privilege, and it was, a special thing that I had my daughter. I had my two sons at Edison, and that community was great for me and for my kids. Mm-hmm. They did a lot of stuff to help my kids out, grow in that community and move on to, to their next chapter of their life.
And I'm sure you wouldn't have traded that time for the world.
No, I mean, I don't know how many people can say they coach their own kids at the high school level and see their kids every day and work with them and see them grow from being a ninth grader all the way to.
I'll say this: you did a damn good job. I mean, playing with you guys as you became adults, and then coaching against you. And I don't think we ever got to coach against you. I might not have been a head coach yet, maybe an assistant. But anyway, both guys highly skilled, smart, high IQ basketball players. I'm sure that comes from being in the gym every day with Pops. So what do you guys attest that to?
It would be funny because, I mean, we've been around basketball, from playing just to watching, since we were kids. So, I mean, we would tell my dad, that's not working. We'd like, we need to do this. Or, we call a play during the game and we're like, no, we're going to run this play. Because we see,
So he don't listen to
it's this guy.
It was both of us. But it's just, I mean, just being around it and I mean, we still, to this day, I mean, he'll call us, hey, like, what do you think about this? Or we just tell him, like, hey, like, that's not working. Like, you know, change it up, So it's just, I mean, it's a good experience just because we all, know basketball. And my brother will call me during the year, like, hey, what do you think about this? Like, what do you think about that? So it's just really, like, we still learn off of each other from all of us. So we all ask each other questions.
And I think staying in this game, making the adjustments I've had, I've been in the district so long, you have to have that open mind to listen. And I want to listen to my assistant coaches. I want to listen to, my family and even call you if, hey, what do you think? Or I know you just have to have an open mind, I think, in order to make adjustments and grow, continue to grow. Yeah. And if you just close yourself off, I think your coaching days would be done.
Well, I think the game will
pass you by because this game is changing every year, every couple months.
I'm going to tell you right now, I wish I played right now. You know what I'm saying? Like the way they shoot the three ball all the time. I wish I played in the system like that I play, that I coach right now because I'd be shooting everything.
That's for sure.
Back then it was slow down.
Well, so when I started coaching, we try to slow it down, run an offense, and now let's open it up and shoot threes. Yeah. We live and die by that three and play some defense. But yeah, you're right. From when you were playing and when these guys were playing, it's just if I didn't grow from that, I'd be having trouble trying to get anybody to come play for me right now. And I think you got to just make those adjustments. And I think the game's going in a good direction. You got to make adjustments on the fly to keep up with it, I think. And I think being open-minded and listening, it helps a whole lot, I think, for myself.
For sure. You know, and coaching against you guys, playing with you guys, I'd much rather, it's much more fun playing on the same team as you guys. So I think we won a Latino tournament one time.
Yeah.
Cinco de Mayo champs. Yeah, Cinco de Mayo champs. I got the MVP, but because you guys passed me the ball though, so it was good. You guys
made it easier.
Made it so easy. So easy. It's much easier to play than to try to guard you and coach against you. So, but have you learned from this experience, right? Watching the dad go through it, and now you got.
I was gonna get there.
Coach with Avery,
yeah,
and even you helping out with Avery. Like, you learn from this.
It's funny because I think we went to a tournament a couple of weekends ago, and like randomly, all of us went. Like me, Lorenzo, my dad, my mom, my girlfriend. So as soon as he got in the car, he knew every mistake he had made. Like, he was like, and then my mom's the one who's always like, y'all need to shut up. You need to like,
let
and
him
then Issa, my girlfriend, would be like y'all need to be nicer. Like you need to be nice. Like
I don't know how.
Yeah. I was like, well, what do you mean? He's like, you like tell him he did something good. What did he do good? And I'm like, man, I don't know. Like I'm trying to, but he's like, even these drives, like he works out with us at Lido every day, but he starts 7th grade this year. So, but playing with the Toros, I had to take a step back. Like I had to like realize like, I think it was Coach Lou and PJ. They were like, hey, like you're getting mad at Avery for the same mistake these other kids are doing, but you're talking them out of it, like on how to adjust, and you're just like you need. And I like had to take a big step back. And Abel, I don't know if you know Abel Valdez. Yeah, he was like one of the first people who pulled me to the side and was like, hey, like every time you get after him, I want you to say something positive. And I was like, man, he was like, and give him a hug. Yeah. And I was like, man, I didn't really.
Man, Abel's one of the nicest people in the world.
Oh, nicest. What's
up, Abel?
Yeah. I always talk about Abel. Like, he was one of the first, him, Lou, and PJ were like for the first. I mean, I think I have a relationship with those guys where they're able to. Yeah, and they're like, hey, like, he's not that bad. Like, relax. Like, and I was like, man, I did. And I catch myself thinking because of them, they're like, hey, you need to calm down. Like, and I'm not super mean or super crazy. It's just, you're not letting him make the same mistakes. Gotcha. These other guys are making.
And I'll step in. I say he's a better basketball player in 7th grade than he was when he was in 7th grade. So I kind of poke at Avery and him all the time. I say, hey, Avery was better than you at 7th grade, so leave him alone, kind of deal.
Because I'm his dad, putting the work in.
But I'm the grandpa, so I can mess around like that.
But that's an exciting opportunity I want to have, like to coach my son at the high school. So right now, like I have all my trust in PJ, Luke, Coach Chris. Like those guys, I think are great for him. Yeah. Like they're making sure he doesn't, make mistakes. Yeah, he's developing the right way. Coach Mateo, like all those dudes are really good dudes in his corner. Like he has a lot of guys in his corner. I don't think he sometimes will realize that. Yeah. But he has a bunch of guys that really care.
Most kids don't.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah. I think all of our kids, we care for all of our kids. I think.
Well, I guess what I'm saying, most kids don't realize when they have something so special.
Oh, yeah. Like all these dudes. Like, I know if he makes a mistake, Chris is going to correct him. Yeah. Like, he's not going to let him
just slide.
Yeah. PJ is going to be the same way.
Yeah, teach him.
Yeah, and teaching. And it's easier coming from, like, because I think we were trying to do something and I was telling him and he's like, was not understanding it. And then PJ walks in and tells him the same exact verbiage, same exact thing. Like, and it's like clicks. And I'm like, bro, what is going on? Yeah, it's like, it's not that. Exactly what it is. So, but I think he's been lucky. And then Lorenzo helps out. He has a big following. So I'm excited to see what high school, if I could be able to get that opportunity to coach him.
One thing I talked to your dad about was when we were trying to set this whole thing up and the main reason was, this is a family business, right? So, like, being the grandpa now, how important was it to incorporate your family? Because when we go to these games, I see your whole family there all the time. And so how important was it to establish that? Because I kind of learned, I do the same. And my wife is at everything. Even the other day, she was like, when is open gym? I haven't been open gym in a while. Like, I needed to want to go to open gym. They're done in 10 minutes. I get off of work in 5. I'll be there for the last 5. But how important was it for you to establish that family?
Oh, I think that's what keeps me going and keeps them going. I think just when they were growing up, and I'll go back to my wife. if she doesn't love basketball the way I love basketball, she showed up to everything, and it was just a family affair. I mean, it just happened where ever since they were little, we were in the gym, and they grew up in the gym, and my wife was at every function in the every basketball game and practices, and she was showing up there, and she felt like it was important that we all be together and support me at the time. Same thing when he's at Lido, everybody goes over there. If I'm not in season anymore, we're trying to support, Artie. And then if he's throwing a function with Slam Dunk for Life, it's a family affair. We're always trying to come together. And it's just not the family. We have a bunch of friends and other, people that are very supportive of us, and they come to everything we pretty much do. And we just try to make sure that we're doing our part in giving back, making sure it's positive and everything like that. But the family deal, I mean, to this day, my wife still, she went to all season games with me this morning.
We should have put her on a podcast.
So it's I mean, I think the success that I've had was because everybody is, I guess, a buy-in.
Yeah.
They bought into the support and being a family affair, and that's what I think has helped me continue to grow and finish this my basketball career off
and to know,
as a coach.
That support that you have at home it's not easy because of the hours and time that it takes, and so to know that they're there for you regardless, it allows you to be yourself and to continue to do what you're doing.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Less stress too.
Oh yeah, there's stress. So I don't. Sometimes, and you probably get that. Sometimes during game, during the season, I don't sleep very well.
Yeah.
Because you're always thinking about how can I get so and so better, better defense on our team, better shooting. You're always thinking of trying to improve the team, and so during the season, my sleeping and when you have my family that we're talking kind of helps me because it's a stress level.
Yeah. For sure.
We're trying, do what's best for our kids at the school and be successful at it.
And some people that have never been in it probably don't get it. I've seen a meme online that says, about high school coaches and teachers in general, just, we lose sleep over other people's kids, right? That's how that was. It's so true. But you're right, and having them to lean on probably helps some of that pressure.
I think a strong family and them being around for the support makes it a whole lot easier.
I have a freshman coach. He just became the head cross country coach, right? And so when school started, cross country's already rolling, and so we're in the office. I'm like, "How you doing, man? You okay?" And he's like, man, I only slept like 2 hours last night." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "I don't know. I just woke up and my brain was going." I was like,
that's there you go. There it is.
He goes, "I'm not even doing anything today. It's just practice. My first practice." I was like,
but I think if you do this right, if you do it right, the coaching business, you're gonna be tired and you're gonna be stressed. And it just you want so much. You want these kids to be so successful and to improve, and your mind's always going, how can I get them better? And I mean, not just on the court or on the field, but as academics, as a student, overall, we're trying to build these young men and make them better, and that's always on my mind.
All right, so last question, and I need you to be honest with me, 100% honest. Everybody played here, all right?
Me.
There you
go.
Hey, I didn't ask the question. I didn't say who's the best post player.
Y'all can have that one. Y'all can have that. I don't want to play defense.
Hey, but honestly, all of your games, even your pops, your games were different. None of your games were similar. Your game was different than his, and your pops is not the same as y'all. But who was the better player? Who's the best player?
Oh, I had them crying at Edison playing 1-on-1.
I was better player than both of them.
Nah, we were playing.
How old was your dad at the time? How old was he?
He had to be. I was like 18, 17, 18.
No, how old was he?
And I'm trying like 38-ish.
I was still whooping them when I was in my 30s.
I
was whooping both of them. It's still in my 30s, late 30s.
I was getting
in high school, but I always get everybody always asks me who's the better. They're just totally
different.
They want me to compare and who's better. I'm like, I've never done it because they're totally, as a coach, he had a different game.
He's like a point guard, and this guy's trying to get a bucket on his shoulders.
Yeah, you give
I don't know anything else.
you give this guy the ball, you're not gonna see it back. He's gonna gun it. You know, and
he's gonna hit 17
and he's gonna gun it
different-
at half court.
17 combos.
And this one's he's a 2-point guard. Yeah. So, but I mean, I'll never compare them and who's better. They did different things for me at that moment, and they were different players. So,
but Pops is best.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, now I forget that Avery.
We'll put pressure. No,
he's
he's
not
got a lot
there.
of
He's
pressure.
not there. Yeah, he's got a lot of pressure. He's got a lot of pressure.
Man, I appreciate
All
you
right,
guys, man. That was good stuff.
appreciate
Good
you.
stuff, man. Appreciate y'all. Artie.
Oh, yes, sir.
It's called Coaching Connection.